Okay, guys, welcome. Welcome to the Infinite Way.
But anyway, we were talking about this, the Infinite Way, and not planning because we don't really. On the way here, we're like, I know your marketing guys have been like, "Hey, what are you going to talk about?" Because we want to be able to promote what you're going to go into on the talks, because that'll obviously drive people coming and stuff like that. But we're like, yeah, that's not the way we roll.
Well, the thing is, I'm very content. In fact, I'm more freer to not know what we're going to talk about. I feel very free in that. I feel the infinite possibilities, if you like, in not knowing what to talk about. But our marketing team, they're like, we need to know what you're going to talk about so we can tell the audience, so then it will drive more people to watch it. And we're both like, ignored the messages. So sorry, Leah. But we just don't really feel to do that. I mean, if anyone would do that, it would be you, but you don't want to do that either. You just want to, from what you're telling me, you just want to go with the flow. So this is how it's rolling.
Yeah. But anyway, look, I think with what I was sharing there, that's just the way that we do roll. You just said something pretty important. You said you feel more free when you don't know. Now, that is completely opposite to the way which, I remember used to having to know. So then I felt safe. I felt free.
Yeah, people generally feel more secure, more safer.
Yeah.
If they knew, what they're to do, what's coming up.
The plan.
There's a bend in the road. Can I see around the bend? And that will make me feel safer. I was talking about this in the in my coaching group yesterday. You were part of it, the Infinite Coaching Group. And I was like, can you imagine going to a football game or a basketball game, and it's a huge game and you're a big fan of the team? Like, just picture this for a second. Massive fan. You've been following them all year and you've been going along on the journey, and you rock up there and you go, let's imagine you and I went to a football game and you went for the opposition and I went for the other opposition. And we rock up there, and then the ref comes in and goes, Roosters have won 14-6. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there you go. Now you know the result. Now you know what's going to come up. Did that make you feel any better? Like, even if your team won, no, it doesn't. You want to go through the uncertainty. You want to go through the ups and the downs and the possibilities and the falls and the picking back up. That's the truth. But there's a part of you goes, no, I want to know. I want to know what's coming up. But the thing is, you want to know what's coming up because you're attaining or feeding your sense of security from what's coming up. And
So question to that, how do you then just not need to feel secure then from what's coming up? How would you share you got to the point of now feeling free in the unknown?
Look,
because that's what they'll ask. They go, that sounds nice.
Your relationship with money, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your clients, your relationship with your business, your relationship with your future is all a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Yeah. So when you because people think we're having relationships with others. Yes, we are, but how you're showing up and who's showing up in you when you're having a relationship with others is pretty much a reflection of the relationship that you're having with yourself. So if you're having a relationship with yourself and you're feeling insecure about who you are, well, guess what? You will then project that insecurity, and your mindset becomes one of an insecure mindset, looking to attain security. If I have more money, maybe if I can see I've got a bigger cushion, maybe I know he loves me,
or maybe if I know things are going this way.
But what's going to plan?
Yeah,
the plan is for you to feel more secure. But what if you already felt security within yourself? What if your relationship with yourself, and everything that I talk about and we talk about is about self-awareness or self-actualization. Self-awareness is all about the relationship you're having with yourself. So we get coaching clients come and join us and go, can you tell me how I can feel more freer in my financial situation? Can you tell me how I can live the lifestyle that you guys
or feel a deeper sense of love in my relationship,
right?
Things like that.
And then it's like, okay, cool. Let's look at how you feel about yourself, right? But it takes a real, a real authentic, vulnerable person, a person who's willing to be vulnerable to look at themselves. Because it's easier to look at your circumstances and look for things to fix, improve, or change.
Because it's not about you, it's about that.
It's about that. If I can focus on my financial, but just tell me how I can improve my financial situations. And I'm like, yeah, but what about I tell you about you first?
And that's what's popular too. That's why, like, for years I would fall into stuff like that, which is about fixing and changing, improving outside.
And look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it doesn't get you that landing. And what I mean, like, you will fix, improve, or change your circumstances, but you still feel empty inside. You still feel fucking insecure. Do you know what I mean?
Do you guys relate to that? Like, I wonder if you guys are on here, there's a few on here. Can you relate to that in your own experience? Because, that was probably one of the biggest things that drove me, into doing the work that I've done with you, a long time ago, was feeling like that. Like, I've worked so hard at everything externally and got to points where I wanted them to be, like achieve certain things financially or relationship-wise, health-wise, all that sort of thing, but then still felt that emptiness.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with achieving great things in your storyline. Like, I
100%. But
I like to drive nice cars. I like to fly fast planes.
Yeah, totally.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what your results or your outcome, they become an expression of you, a reflection of you, rather than you becoming attached or enslaved to your outcome and result to be fixed, improved, or changed to make you feel better about yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So,
but I feel like that happened because, from in my experience, because I didn't know myself.
Yeah.
I was looking for a feeling. I was looking for something in those outcomes, in the things I had. But now in having yourself, it's so much fun to enjoy those things, but really without the attachment of needing it. So, and it's funny, I would hear things like that, but really I was never there. Like, it meant something to me to have the nice car, to, you know what I mean? But I'd heard all that, that doesn't make you who you are, but I didn't
But again, I just want to add, there's nothing wrong with having a nice car.
Yeah, no,
I'm an advocate for a nice car, right? Nothing wrong with that. But there's a difference between having that car for you to feel secure, for you to feel significance, right? Rather than having that sense of security or sense of significance in who you are. Yeah. The difference is, if you don't have that, you become attached or enslaved. Enslaved meaning you will work hard, you will do things in order to attain that car, and furthermore, in order to keep that car.
Yeah.
So you become a slave to the doing rather than, becoming the master of who you're being, and then what you do becomes an expression or a reflection of who you're being. It's the opposite. You got to turn what you think reality is and turn it upside down. There's a mind topple that's got to take place. Yeah,
definitely. That's definitely a process. And what do you think? Like, I suppose people listening to that go, yeah, I can feel that, but like, how do I practice that in my day? Like, if they notice that, what do you do about it? What do you do about it when you notice, I do feel enslaved by my job, or like my relationship, it does matter to me whether I'm loved, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, because people can be aware of that, but then they're like, well, or they don't want to be vulnerable and admit it because they don't know what to do about it.
Look, it is important. Look, I'm not saying that it's not important to receive love and to, significance from your story.
Yeah.
Like, there's a story that's playing out in your life, and it is important for you to be loved and accepted and approved of, etc. But what I'm trying to say to you is that when you don't need that, right? Naturally you have that because the reason you don't need that is because you found it in yourself. Then it becomes a reflection within your story. And here's the thing, when people do love you, or people do accept you, or people do give you recognition, you experience the appreciation of it rather than the need of it. 100%. Because when whatever you're doing in your life is to get recognition, to get acceptance, to get approval, then even when you attain that approval or recognition, you experience the need of it. And wait for it, this is what it feels like, Jamie. When you're experiencing the need of it, you go, and then you go, is that all?
Is that
Like
all?
something's missing. Like I thought it would be like, I'd get the gold watch, I'd get the corner office, I'd get this car, and now I'll be like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like I'm like, but it's not like you have a moment of, excitement.
I think people can relate to that, and I know that like from listening to that makes I can could relate and people make sense of that. The thing is like, I'm going to read Ramina's question because I think it might be in there what I'm searching for here.
Yeah.
Ramina asks, where I get stuck is in conflict, for example, there is a fine line between not being attached and not caring. How do you resolve the conflict? Because I know what you're talking about is, the experience of that, what it feels like, now the awareness of it. So how does someone practically or tangibly start to do the work so that it's not about the need of it?
Well, first of all, the question that she's asking is, I want to distinguish the difference between not caring and being attached. Because the thing is, when you're not attached, you can care, right? Because when you are attached, right, that's when you don't care. Right, because you're attached to one outcome, right, and that outcome is to benefit you. It's driven towards your agenda from what you perceive you lack, right? So when you're not attached, you suddenly are more caring. Because why are you more caring? Because you don't need that person, for example, in a relationship to show up in a certain way just so you can fulfill your insecurities. Do you understand? So you're now showing up and you care more, right? Rather than being not caring is because you're driven to one particular outcome. When you are caring, you're open to the possibilities of what shows up, but I just wanted to distinguish the difference. So to answer the question, where I get stuck is in conflict. Example, there is a fine line between not being attached and not caring. So if you're trying to analyze this in your head, you will think to yourself that to be not attached is to not care. And you're like, I don't care. I don't care what you do. But the thing is, you do, right? And usually someone says, I don't care, but normally they do. Being non-attached is you're free in yourself, right? And therefore it doesn't, how that person or how your circumstances show up, it's neither here or there, right? So it's not that you don't care.
Yeah.
Right. I think I have answered that.
Yeah,
I just realized I have answered it.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't care. In fact, when you're not attached, you care. You care for the person, where when you are attached, you care for yourself.
Yeah.
It's
two
different
you care for
things.
yourself because it's an agenda. There's something that you want in your attachment for the person to do, say, be whatever, so then you can feel good about yourself.
No, go on. Sorry.
You just looked at your time and went somewhere else.
Yeah, I did, huh? I was like, because we wanted to keep it within 30 minutes. And
but that's what I said. I hope that answers your question, Ramina, because it's a good question. But that's what it looks like. I suppose it's a bit of like, we're talking about the infinite way to being, really, it's about being open, being able to be caring, but from a place where it's not about your own agenda. It's not about your needs. And that's a big one to start to catch.
The other thing about the infinite way, the infinite ways means all things are possible.
Yeah,
like when I present my WTF experience when I was doing it live, and I would have an audience in front of me.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was, and it'll come back at some point.
Yeah, well, fun.
And then we can actually meet people in person. But I ask people, what I'm here to talk to you about is living the infinite way, right? But what's infinity? Please tell me, what is infinity? And people will say, well, infinity is all things are possible. You are all encompassing, all
boundless.
Powerful. You're boundless. There's no beginning. There's no end. There's no right. There's no wrong. I'm like, awesome answers, right? So you got to understand when you say infinity is all those things, right? Your mind, the way you analyze it is, infinity is all things possible. And you think to yourself, all things are possible, all the things that I need, right, to make me feel secure are possible. That's how the mind is analyzing it. Oh, so you're telling me I I can have that car, but you need that car, not
Yeah.
for it to be an expression of it. I can have that lifestyle, but you need that lifestyle, right? It's not that, right? Infinite possibilities means that all things are possible. Now, all things possible means that it could be, hey, I could do this business, for example, and I could fail, right? Because all things possible mean you could succeed or you could fail.
100%. Yeah.
Do you understand? And anyone who's an entrepreneur would know that. Would know that you know. I've got friends who sometimes ask me for advice, and they've got full-time jobs, and they're very secure in those full-time jobs, and they've been doing that for a long time. And they've got ideas that they want to do, especially during this time right now, because they think to themselves, well, you know what, I could be redundant soon because of what's going on in the world. And maybe I should, and they have a love to do something completely new and start their own business. And it's the first step, you know, they can't take. Because the first step is you're facing the risk involved. What's the risk? I could fail. But that's infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities is you could succeed and you could fail, but no matter what, if something feels true and raw and real for you, it's worth failing for. Doesn't mean you're going to fail, right?
I like that you said that, because most people are sitting there going, but I don't want to fail.
You know, and you know, we talk about entrepreneurship. You know, I have a passion for entrepreneurship. But talk about relationships. Some people won't love their partner completely because they're afraid of being rejected.
Yeah.
What if they don't love me? Some people won't get into a relationship because what if I get hurt? But is that relationship, is that person worth being hurt for? Hurtful is not the right word. Is it worth being rejected?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you understand? That's infinite possibilities. It means that you love something, but the very thing you love, you could also fail, right? Because infinite possibilities is all possibilities.
You know, like it's cool you mentioned that, because you're reminding me of on your infinite
By the
coaching.
way, Ramina said the distinction landed. Always love a good landing. Thanks, Ramina.
What I was going to say is that in your infinite coaching group, the call you do, I love there's a person in that group that was speaking about feeling something for someone, and your advice was, you know, now thinking about it, like just love that person, literally just express what's there to be expressed.
Yeah.
And
It was a good scenario. You should explain it.
well, okay, so this person that was in the coaching group, some might be on here that I don't know. Anyway, they're in this coaching group, and they
You don't need to share names.
They had a friend, and they felt this love. Just this love for this friend, and then they didn't know if it'd be received. They'd been friends, and not only would it be received, this person's in another part of the world. There was like, how's this relationship going to work? Will this work out? And then there was other things, like she was thinking about the future already, you know, like in just if she went there with this person anyway, and she was very at a turmoil almost, and you could see the heaviness in the suppression of not being able just to express what was there. There was so much thinking about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember she came to the group and you gave us some live facilitation there, and eventually what it really came down to is go love him.
But the step that you've missed out here in explaining is that she actually approached this guy and said, I'm in love with you.
Oh, that's right.
Right?
Yes, yeah.
And then he was like reciprocated the love back and saying, I actually feel the same, right? So in the coaching session, she's like, what do I do?
That's right.
Let me finish it now because you didn't.
I fucked up.
What do I do? What do I do? Because he lives in another country. There's COVID. I can't even go visit him. He can't go visit me, right? And I said, do you really love him? Is the love real? Yes, it is. And it is for him as well. But what do I do? You love him. Do you know?
I loved it, yeah. So, but and this is awesome. So you gave this coaching, and I remember this is now like 2 weeks later. It's been 2 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, and I saw her on the call, and she just, her energy drew me in. I loved it was her energy. She just felt very different. I was like, what's going on? You know, what's happening? And I love what she said, because it wasn't just about the relationship.
Yeah.
You remember? Like, she said in going and expressing, meeting the feeling that was moving through and just loving him without the ideas of how this is going to work, when are we going to be. Just, she was so light. And she said, things are moving in other areas of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I loved that point that she made. I don't know if
Well, love's infectious, mate.
It's not just infectious, but like, we try and usually think that it's about one thing in our life. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. It's infectious. So when you say yes to love, and in this case, it was saying yes to someone she loves, even though she can't be with him because she's in the other part of the world and there's COVID and we don't know how long COVID's going to go for, right? She first acknowledged that she loves him. She then expressed that love, and then she chose to love him, even though they can't be together. Just love him.
Yeah.
That then it's infectious. It then affects your finances. It affects how you feel about yourself. It affects your ability to stay in the moment.
Yeah, she was so different, and it's anti-aging. We're making joking about it because it just this weight had come off. She was like,
the truth is, when she came on the coaching call, I didn't know who she was, and this is a true story.
That's right.
So my Infinite Coaching group is a group that I meet with people once a week, and I actually do provide coaching. By the way, if anyone's interested in that, it's $97 a month, Australian dollars. So you can check it out, and then we can meet together and do group coaching. So the point is, when I do the Infinite Coaching group, I sometimes at the beginning I go, well, is there anyone new? Because there's usually about 20 people in the call.
Yeah.
And I go, is there anyone new? And one person was new, and she got welcomed. And then I'm looking at this other girl. I'm like, are you sure? Is anyone else that's new? And she's not saying anything. I'm like, I'm pretty sure she's new. I'm pretty sure I've never seen her. Now, mind you, she's been on the coaching course for 6-7 weeks already, but she looked so different. Because she was in love, and that love was infectious in all areas of her lives. She looked younger. I didn't recognize, and until I realized her backdrop, and it was a familiar backdrop, because she's, when we have these calls, people are sitting in their dining room or in their office or whatever, and I saw the backdrop and I was, oh, you're that girl. You look completely different. I didn't even recognize you.
And it was. She definitely transcended something. It was a different her now.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful to see. I don't know why I started talking about that.
It's a great anti-aging cream.
Okay.
Most people are looking for anti-aging cream, but your ability to live in the moment, do what you love, right? Love's essence is the now, right? The more you're in the now, the less you age.
You're turning 58 next week, aren't you?
68.
But anyway, I know why I started speaking out, because I was talking about the infinite way, and someone asked, what's this look like? How do you be that? And I love the examples that are being given, just even in that, in your expression of a feeling, whether it's in a relationship, in what you feel to do creatively. I didn't say for work, but just what comes to you to do those sort of things is so important to align with that. So, yeah, it's a journey, but it's usually unknown. Like that girl, she didn't know how it was going to happen from there. Completely unknown.
The trick is, and this is what I teach people. If there's anything people learn from doing some coaching or doing my programs, which they're all online. If anyone's ever interested in that, the biggest thing I teach people is to find their certainty in the uncertain. Now, the uncertain is the infinite possibilities, because all things are possible, and when all things are possible, suddenly you're uncertain. Right? Because when one thing's possible, you got your eye on one thing, and that one thing looks like it's eventuating. You can see around the corner, it's giving you a sense of certainty, right? And the thing is, when all things are possible, you're in this, I don't know, in this energy that I call the nothingness, right? It's the emptiness. Now, people go, the emptiness? That sounds like frightening. The nothingness? Where are you taking me? But within that nothingness is everything. It's not the same nothingness that you experience as your void. In fact, your interpretation, when you're analyzing this in your head, when you analyze the nothingness, you interpret that as a void that you need to fill up. So then you look into your story, you go shopping, buy more shoes, buy more cars, buy more, have more sex, have more, and you create new addictions to try to fill that void. But that void is
I love what you're talking about, because it's just like that girl that's in the group, or working with people, when they go into the nothingness, they go into the unknown, and then they see how things work out, and it's just this aliveness, and they're like, what? And it's just like, wow, this stuff, it works. But it's not just about doing it once. And that's where sometimes, I just see.
Well, that's why you can't. This is a path or a journey that you got to be coached or mentored. I've personally been coached. I don't know how I would have found myself through this journey. So, But that's what we do at the end of the day. We coaches and mentor. Jamie likes to call himself a mentor, but I definitely coach people. And
I only say mentor because I feel like the coach had such a bad rap for a while ago because people would be like, "I'm going to tell you how to live your life," and definitely. Don't
well, I am going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you things about your life that you didn't know were there before. And when I point it out, you realize it's always been there before.
Yeah, 100%,
you know. And then when that's the thing, it's not new. You recognize something that's always been there, and then you begin to use that, and that creates a complete different outcome and result.
I just love the style in which you coach, in which you pass on to me, is to show people by having them realize that for themselves.
Yeah,
Like that is just.
There's no use me telling people
Yeah.
what the truth is. It's me, speaking the truth and getting them to realize it within themselves.
Yeah, it's everything, and they own everything.